It's just another tough fight for either one.
Better chance to be very competitive in this Inoue because he doesn't throw reckless punches and too many punches where he gives Inoue a lesser chance to catch him.
Well, he can be hurt, he can be put down, and MJ's a big puncher. I don't think you can judge much off of the performance of last week from MJ because it was sort of cautious, and he was just going in there to get the win.
Boxing insiders are sounding the alarm on Mirzizbek, MJ, Akhmadaliev as a real threat to Naoya Inoue. Teddy Atlas pointed out that MJ isn't just strong. He's smart, disciplined, and precise. Instead of wasting shots, he picks his punches carefully, making it much harder for Inoue to find clean openings. Add in his southpaw stance, sharp fundamentals, and calm maturity in the ring, and you have a fighter built to cause problems. Analysts warn that if Inoue takes him lightly, Akhmadaliev's speed, skill, and composure could combine into the perfect formula to give the Japanese superstar one of the toughest tests of his career.
He's a southpaw, he's a good puncher, he doesn't waste anything. He's very deliberate in his approach. He slowly, takes the air out of the room by carefully putting pressure on. He's not reckless. He's got good legs. He controls range really well, going in and out, changing range. That helps him defensively. It helps him offensively. He does that like Lomachenko did it. Not as good as Lomachenko. I don't know if anybody does legs as good as Lomachenko at his best did. And Lomachenko was better because he not only went in and out, he went to the sides. He went in, out, side, in. I mean, he was a magician with his legs. He was a ballet artist with his legs. But MJ uses them well. He doesn't waste anything. As my son said, got good eyes. He places punches really accurately, especially to the body. He throws a beautiful left uppercut to the liver. Beautiful. From the southpaw position. Usually you see that punch from the orthodox position with the conventional left hook to the liver. He does it with a left uppercut to the liver. He gets range. He delivers it again very accurately, flawlessly. He is a serious guy. He's not the busiest guy in the world, but that makes him a problem too. I gotta laugh. One of the commentators, I don't know who the guy was, but the blow-by-blow guy, I had to laugh when he said, "Oh, hey, this will never work against Inoue." What are you talking about? Why? He's got to throw more punches for you to give him a chance against Inoue? Well, where did you get your boxing diploma from? What school was that? I'd like to know. So he's gonna have a better chance, in your estimation, to beat Inoue because he should be throwing a lot more punches.
Joel Diaz stresses that Murodjon Akhmadaliev is a true standout in the super bantamweight division. As a southpaw, he naturally creates tricky angles and unpredictable movement that give orthodox fighters major problems. Diaz points out MJ's rare blend of speed and power, with punches that carry both precision and real impact. His sharp footwork lets him dictate distance, pivot out of danger, and set traps from unexpected angles. According to Diaz, taking on Akhmadaliev is never straightforward. His stance, calculated aggression, and athleticism demand elite preparation. In a showdown with Naoya Inoue, Diaz believes those tools could flip the script, turning what some call a mismatch into one of the Japanese champion's hardest tests, where Inoue will either have to adapt or risk being outmaneuvered.
Well, we just talked about you did say Cinco de Mayo boxing. Congratulations. Now that you know Inoue from Cardenas, you have MJ who's next. Is that going to be here or is it going to be Tokyo now? Do you know?
They talked about Tokyo. I think it's going to be over there.
I think it's more electric here because we can go. But now,
I wish it was here.
I know. With what you learned and what Cardenas learned, is it going to be easier to be able to train MJ, or do you think Inoue is going to come in differently?
Well, it's a different style. It's a different fighter. Cardenas is a right-hander. MJ is lefty. Their both styles are different.
Thank you so much.
It's just another tough fight for either one. I mean, MJ is tough, he's strong, he's disciplined. I mean, he has great timing, he has better footwork. Cardenas, don't get me wrong, Cardenas is very, very smart with his defense, on avoiding getting hit. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to be easy for either or.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be an easy task, even though I share the ring with Inoue already. It's not, because Inoue is very smart. He's very athletic, and I mean, his timing, his volume is overwhelming.
Analysts caution that if Naoya in no way underestimates Murodjon Akhmadaliev and approaches the fight as an easy task, it could prove to be the biggest mistake of his career. The issue isn't Inoue's talent. His skills are undeniable, but rather his mindset and preparation. One key factor experts point out is Akhmadaliev's connection with trainer Joel Diaz. That experience gives Diaz and his team unique insight into Inoue's habits, strengths, and areas where he can be exposed. Some argue this shared knowledge could be the most decisive factor of all. For Inoue, the message is clear: stay disciplined, avoid overconfidence, and respect Akhmadaliev as a dangerous, fully prepared challenger, or risk paying a heavy price.
Naoya Inoue admitted that MJ Akhmadaliev may possibly be his strongest opponent yet, and that there's no shame in admitting that his plan is to stay vigilant and be extra cautious. Inoue, who's known to always pretty much win via knockout, admitted that for this fight, it's okay to win via decision, suggesting that being reckless and letting his guard down is definitely a big no-no, especially considering that Akhmadaliev's trainer is the same guy who trained Ramon Cardenas, the fighter who fought and scored a knockdown against Inoue this past Cinco de Mayo. Once again, this fight will be for the undisputed junior featherweight title, and if Inoue wins, he's expected to fight again on December 27th and will be headlining a Japan vs Mexico card in Saudi Arabia. Now, this will mark Inoue's official Riyadh season debut in the Middle East, as well as the last fight for Inoue before he and fellow Japanese pound-for-pound Junto Nakatani meet early next year.
Teddy Atlas praised Murodjon Akhmadaliev as one of the fastest and strongest fighters in the division. He noted that MJ never wastes punches or throws wildly. Instead, every shot is calculated for maximum effect. According to Atlas, this disciplined style is exactly what makes him such a dangerous opponent for Naoya Inoue. By steering clear of reckless exchanges and relying on precision, Akhmadaliev minimizes risks while boosting his chances of pulling off a potential upset.
Where he gives Inoue a lesser chance to catch him as he's throwing those punches.
And he's a southpaw.
Yeah, and he's a southpaw. He's very selective when he throws. And when he throws, it's accurate. It's at the right place, at the right time, in the right position. He's not throwing, like you say, more punches where he might throw from too far away or too many in one spot, where Inoue, who's great at timing guys, would time him in between a fourth punch. Inoue won't have that opportunity because this guy is selective. He is smart. He is calculating. That's what gives him a chance. That's the opposite of what whoever he was. The opposite. That's what gives him a chance for me.
Eddie Hearn stirred controversy in the boxing world by suggesting that Naoya Inoue had been avoiding a clash with Murodjon Akhmadaliev. Hearn claimed Inoue was well aware that Akhmadaliev was the most complete and dangerous fighter in the division, yet the matchup never came together until now. The promoter argued that MJ has long been the most avoided fighter at super bantamweight, carrying the label of a high-risk, low-reward opponent for the division stars. By framing Inoue as having sidestepped the challenge, Hearn fueled the idea that this fight is long overdue. His remarks not only added fire to the build-up, but also boosted Akhmadaliev's profile, casting him as the man champions preferred not to face.
Inoue is straight ducking MJ Akhmadaliev. He's been ordered to fight him twice, right? He's had 2 gimme fights now instead of fighting Akhmadaliev. And now, well, tomorrow, Monday, the WBA will write to Naoya Inoue and they will say, enough's enough. You have to fight Akhmadaliev next, or you will be stripped of your WBA world title. He has ducked Akhmadaliev twice after an order. Now he's getting ordered for a 3rd time, and he will give up his right as undisputed champion rather than make a mandatory defense against Akhmadaliev? What? Tell me a better fight at 122 than Inoue against Akhmadaliev. It doesn't exist. So you're ducking the best fight in the division. And I can't understand it. Like, I don't even think it's just coming from the team. They don't like the fight.
Gareth A. Davies pushed back on Eddie Hearn's claims, questioning the idea that Naoya Inoue ever had a reason to avoid Murodjon Akhmadaliev. He asked bluntly, asterisk, who is MJ Akhmadaliev that Inoue would feel the need to duck him? Asterisk, while acknowledging that insiders respect MJ's skills. Davies pointed out that his name recognition outside hardcore boxing circles is limited. Inoue, by contrast, is already a global star, an undisputed champion who has consistently fought and beaten elite opponents while building a massive following. From that standpoint, Davies argued, the narrative of Inoue ducking a lesser-known fighter doesn't hold up. Inoue isn't chasing validation. His resume and reputation speak loudly enough. For Davies, a fight with Akhmadaliev would be about adding to Inoue's legacy and checking off another dangerous contender, not about silencing critics. The back and forth between Hearn and Davies captures two sides of the story. Hearn promoting MJ as the most avoided man in the division, and Davies questioning whether such avoidance ever made sense in the first place.
Akhmadaliev, who is Akhmadaliev? I know he's very seasoned and he's a brilliant fighter and very dangerous, but who is he?
At this stage of Naoya Inoue's career, exactly that question, Gareth. Who is he?
Naoya Inoue is number 2 pound for pound in the world, isn't he? Or 2 or 3.
For the people that may not know Naoya Inoue, he's in the top 3 pound for pound. He's a 4-weight, 4-division world champion, 2-weight, 2-division undisputed champion. Naoya Inoue, I'll tell you where he goes next. He's been light fly, super fly, bantam, super bantam. You know, he's gone through the divisions, winning world titles and getting undisputed, etc. Where does he go next? He moves up. He's just signed with Riyadh season.
Yeah.
The fight was there. It was a brilliant performance against Kim. Just showed his class. Absolutely dominated and absolutely iced him.
Don't call him on, I say, because Kim made a massive mistake.
Yeah,
didn't
Kim
he?
called him on, and the body shot was crippling, and then he landed a big right hand. The fight was over, but it was calculated. It was meticulous in that finish. It was brilliant.
This guy is a modern great. He's called a monster because I think it's 26 knockouts from 29 fights now. He is so destructive. He's come up through the weight divisions, as you say, 4 weight divisions, not just winning world titles, but dominating the best in the divisions. He's stepping up to a 5th weight division. He's got the credence and the belief of Turki Al Sheikh now, who wants him to fight. Who did he mention? Nick Ball. And this is a fight we've been pushing for. I've been talking about it for a year. Stylistically, Ball is a squat, powerful pocket rocket who comes at you all night.
Trainer Joel Diaz added further weight to the debate by praising Murodjon Akhmadaliev's versatility and pedigree. Diaz emphasized that MJ is bigger and more complete than Ramon Cardenas, the same fighter who once gave Naoya Inoue serious trouble and even pulled off a win. His point was simple. If Cardenas could make life difficult for Inoue, then Akhmadaliev, who is stronger, faster, and more seasoned, would be an even greater test. Diaz highlighted MJ's experience against every style imaginable. Pressure fighters, slick movers, counterpunchers, and heavy hitters. That broad exposure, he explained, has sharpened Akhmadaliev's adaptability and built the confidence to adjust under any circumstances. More than just his physical gifts, Diaz described MJ as one of the most complete fighters in today's game, crediting his refined ring IQ as a true difference maker. For Inoue, who relies heavily on timing and precision, Diaz warned that facing a fighter with such depth and experience could pose unique challenges. His message was clear. Akhmadaliev isn't just another name in the division. He's a complete fighter with the skills, pedigree, and intelligence to genuinely test the pound-for-pound king.
You just mentioned earlier MJ has that fight in Mexico. It's looking like a state-based kind of fight. We've heard that the fight with Inoue is official. Is it confirmed?
Well, they said it is. I don't know. I mean, they already announced it. They said it's September 14th. So.
And now we see MJ and Ramon, good buddies. There's animosity there. Yeah. They're always motivating each other. half the time they don't talk really about common opponents. They're just they're just shooting the shit the way they say. What has MJ said about that fight, and how does he feel about his chances?
Look, you're talking about two different fighters. Ramon is totally different from MJ. MJ is lefty, Ramon is righty. Ramon is a smaller than MJ. MJ is a bigger, solid, more solid fighter with more technique. He was an Olympian, remember. MJ has fought every style around the world because he was an Olympian. He was a silver medalist, bronze medalist, whatever. He's fought the best of the best in the world. That's why MJ has a better chance than Ramon. The only difference between us and MJ is the language barrier. To talk to him the way I can talk to a Mexican fighter that grew up with me, to motivate him in my language is different than just saying davai, rebota, like work, No, it's different. So that's the only issue, the only factor that we're gonna have to work around. But I just think that MJ, it's faster. He is really hard as well. His timing and his experience.
And of course, MJ, again, Ramon, you guys have one of the deepest staples in boxing. Obviously, the boys have talked about it. If one of them gets the title, they'll serve it up.
No, they talked before. It's like, for example, they said before the fight, Ramon said it. If I win this fight, if I beat Inoue, I will not fight MJ. I will not fight a stablemate. He's my friend. He's my team. He says we would talk about it if it's beneficial for both.
Matchroom's Frank Smith fueled the anticipation by framing the fight as the defining moment of Murodjon Akhmadaliev's career. He emphasized MJ's punching power, pointing to his recent performances where every shot carried genuine knockout danger. Smith made it clear, this isn't just the biggest payday of Akhmadaliev's career, it's the grandest stage he's ever stepped on. Facing Naoya Inoue in such a high-profile showdown, Smith argued, gives MJ the chance to shift the balance of power in the super bantamweight division. A win would mean instant global recognition and cement the kind of legacy most fighters only dream of. He also stressed the timing, noting that Akhmadaliev is in his prime, brimming with confidence and motivation, making this the perfect moment to challenge boxing's most celebrated lowerweight champion.
MJ Akhmadaliev as well gets that win and sets up with an absolute mega fight with Naoya Inoue in September as well.
Yeah, 100%. Look, he was very cautious in there. As you can imagine, he's got a lot riding on it. 14 weeks until the Inoue fight. I think September 15th is the date for that in Japan. A fight he's waited a long time for, been very patient for, and I think been more than, given more than enough time for Inoue to do the other things he's wanted to do. But yeah, he finally gets his opportunity to become undisputed. He was unlucky in that fight against Tapales a few years ago now to lose his belts, and would have got the Inoue shot a lot sooner. I think we saw in the last Inoue fight, he can be vulnerable, he can be hurt, he can be put down, and MJ's a big puncher. I don't think you can judge much off of the performance of last week from MJ because it was sort of cautious, and he was just going in there to get the win, get some rounds ahead of the biggest fight of his career. It's going to be a spectacular occasion come September.
Observers widely agree that Murodjon Akhmadaliev stands as one of the toughest challenges of Naoya Inoue's career. Unlike some past opponents who seemed defeated before the first bell, MJ enters with the credentials, confidence, and skill set to pose a real threat. His mix of strength, sharp technique, and relentless determination make him a complete fighter, while his southpaw stance adds another wrinkle of difficulty. Analysts note that although Inoue has dominated nearly everyone in front of him, he has rarely faced an opponent with Akhmadaliev's unique balance of attributes, making this matchup far more intriguing than some expect.
So Naoya Inoue's next fight with Murodjon Akhmadaliev has been announced for September 14th, so same weekend as Canelo Crawford in Nagoya, Japan. Now Akhmadaliev, he's a solid test. Crafty southpaw, can move his feet well, he can dig to the body, exchange on the inside. He's got decent combination punching, very durable. This will be one of Inoue's tougher fights at 122. Although definitely not the toughest fight of his career like they're promoting, I would say Donaire won. But MJ can definitely box. And Inoue, he can sometimes start slower against southpaws, like the Neri fight, even the first 2 or 3 rounds against Doheny. But I do think his power will eventually take over in this one. Akhmadaliev does get into exchanges. Inoue's right hand, his body shots will start to land. So I can see Inoue getting a late stoppage in this one. Now, Inoue is supposed to have 4 fights this year, and Turkey is also finalizing him versus Alan Picasso for a Saudi card in December. And I think that card is supposed to have a Japanese fighters versus Mexican fighters theme. But Inoue very active on a great stretch right now. Cardenas, MJ, Picasso, and then obviously the big one with Junto Nakatani next year.
The stage is set in Naoya, Japan, for what promises to be one of the year's most compelling clashes, scheduled in the same week as the blockbuster Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. While that mega fight dominates global headlines, Inoue versus Akhmadaliev has boxing fans buzzing in its own right, as it brings together two of the super bantamweight division's very best. Staging the fight in Japan only heightens the spectacle, with Inoue enjoying superstar status and guaranteed to draw an electric home crowd, creating a charged atmosphere for the challenger. The timing alongside another marquee event underscores what many are calling a golden stretch for boxing, where fans are being treated to elite, legacy-defining matchups in rapid succession.
Right, it looks like the monster Naoya Inoue has confirmed the location for the super fight between himself versus Murodjon Akhmadaliev for the undisputed super bantamweight title. The monster recently posted this stating, quote, "The Nagoya showdown is now set." If you don't know, Nagoya is a city in Japan. And this more or less confirms that the super fight between both men will be set in Nagoya, Japan. Now we've got the location for it. The next question is, when's the actual date for it all? And I might just have the answer for it. Doing a little bit of detective work, it looks like the date for the showdown will be on September the 14th. MJ looked calm and relaxed against Castillo, and to be honest with you, he didn't really have to get out of gear 1. Against the monster Naoya Inoue, he's gotta have to be in his optimum best to stand any chance of getting the victory. As for Naoya Inoue, we know he's gonna put on a world-class performance, especially in front of his home country of Japan. Guys, as a boxing fan, I'm so excited for this matchup. Like I said before in the past, this is one of the fights I've always wanted to see Naoya Inoue get tested on, and we're about to get it in September. Guys, what's your thoughts about all this news? And when these two do collide in September, who do you have winning and how? Let me know.
That's it for today's video, fight fans. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time, keep it locked right here for the latest in boxing.